After generating 26 million transactions for restaurants and individually working with 2,500 different restaurant concepts, we have cracked the code on helping any restaurant that has a physical brick and mortar location grow their business. And I really failed for years at restaurant marketing until I understood this one concept, and that concept is being able to track an exact ROI from your marketing. And if this is your first time here, my name is Jace, by the way. I'm the COO and one of the co-founders here at Dineline and our new software product, Dishio, where we provide a data-driven solution for restaurants so that they have an extended partner and we help them grow their business. I think at the end of the day, all restaurant owners want is transparency. They want to know that if they make an investment into something, is it actually working? And that's exactly what our business does. And so if you want to stay up to date with what's working the best for our clients, trends that we're seeing have the most success in marketing, then click like on this video and subscribe to our channel. We post these type of videos every single week. So if you care about growing your restaurant business, this is stuff that you want to know about. And so, like I said, what this video is about and what I failed at for years as a marketer until I understood this is you have to be able to track every single dollar. And before I started working with restaurants, I got my start in marketing with e-commerce companies. And the great part about that was that you can actually run an ad online, track a purchase that happened in somebody's store, and track the exact cost that it took to make that purchase. And so then when I started working with restaurants, I realized that they don't have this figured out at all. Yet it's probably one of the most important factors that comes into being able to grow any business. And that's what we set out to accomplish. And it's taken years to really perfect this and figure out like how to best do this in a way that wasn't figured out before. And so basically that's what we've dedicated the last 8 years that we've been in business to figuring out. And I'm going to share with you in this video some of the most up-to-date methods that we use when it comes to tracking marketing dollars. And so it's important that you know this and what we're going to go over today, because frankly, I'm tired of agencies that go to restaurants and show them clicks, impressions, and likes, but aren't able to actually show a tangible ROI from their services. And we have figured that out as of recent on one of our platforms, Google. So let me break that down for you guys. What we did is we ended up partnering with Google, and we're pretty much leveraging them for their back-end store tracking and data and analytics to their customer base. So pretty much every single person on the planet uses Google to do their searches, use Google Maps, and I could go on and on and on. And so Google has a lot of data on these customers, and that's the data that we leverage in order to help restaurants track whether somebody came into the restaurant or not. And we can do this through some really cool features like geolocation, tracking a customer through their mobile device to see if they actually came to the restaurant. We can track credit card swipes, and we can also track these things to help us give us a true cost per store visit. And once we were able to figure this out, it completely changed the game for all the restaurants that we work with. And so what I'm going to go over right now is actually available on Google to not just us. You just have to be able to spend about a few $100,000 a month on Google's ad platforms. So what this gives us the ability to do is offer this same type of leverage on data to small to medium-sized restaurant chains with the same advantages that larger restaurant chains or publicly traded companies might be able to tap into that the small guys just aren't. And so here's how we got the Google Store tracking to work. The first step was to integrate the Google Store tracking with all of our clients' advertising accounts. And the second step was to figure out if somebody clicked on an ad or even viewed an ad on their phone, does that person actually end up showing up at the restaurant so we can see that click or that engagement to a restaurant transaction? And then the third is when you use Google Pay or some of these other credit card features, you're actually saving a lot of the credit cards that you would end up using at the restaurant. And so we can take those credit card transactions and then cross-check that with Google to ensure that the people that are showing up at the restaurant are valid. And the result of all this is now we have have a clear cost per store visit that we can look at to see if the marketing dollars that we're spending are actually producing an ROI. And again, once we were able to figure this out, completely changed the game for a lot of our clients. Most restaurant agencies are going to focus on clicks and impressions, but they're not going to tell you about customers that are actually spending money. So now that we can track real-time visits, now we want to optimize towards actual revenue. And so we'll do this for our clients where we create them like real-time dashboards to help guide the decisions and the impact of what we're doing. And so we compared ad data to in-store revenue instead of just online engagement. We're going to optimize the campaigns around specific costs. And then we're going to scale that ad budget only if we know that this is going to be profitable for the restaurant. If not, then like you don't want to spend more on marketing. You're just lighting money on fire if you don't know this. And so in some cases here, we know that if we spend $5,000 on marketing, then that could potentially relate to $50,000 in top line revenue. And we have to calculate here like the restaurants, like cost of goods sold, their net profit. But I'm just, for the sake of this example, I'm just trying to paint a picture for you. So if you know this to be true, and now that we're tracking all of our ad spend, tracking credit cards, everything, then now I know that I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to spend $10,000 and see if that gets me to $100,000. It's a calculated bet. And we know that it's a calculated bet because we know our numbers. But if I didn't know my numbers in this case, this would be like seen as like very irresponsible or spending more money on advertising. But it's not, because we know our numbers. And this is how people that are scaling and growing the restaurant using digital advertising are doing it. So we work with these people and we see it firsthand. So take my advice in that this is how people are doing it at a high level. And just to prove to you guys that this is like legit and we're doing this for customers like right now, and you could do the same thing too, is one of our new clients was Simply Fish, which is a casual concept in Costa Mesa, California. So this client wasn't necessarily, I would say, tech savvy. So they were asking us a lot of questions about performance. They were skeptical whether the digital marketing aspect of our service was actually going to work. Rightfully so. There's a lot of people on the internet that sell stuff that doesn't get the best results. So fair questions. But when we were able to boil down the numbers to what I just showed you, when we were able to show them some of the stuff that we could do on Google, the numbers proved it. So before Dineline, their dining room averaged about $85,000 per month. And then in January, the next month after implementing the Google store visit tracking that I just went over, their numbers jumped up to $109,000 just from in-house dining. And their original goal was $170,000 a month in revenue. That's like what they thought they could hit in their slow season. And we hit $168,000 in just 30 days. Now, not every single restaurant does this, but when you at least take the time to help understand the numbers that I laid out to you, a restaurant that's going to get that, understand that, they can scale quickly because they have the right information to do that. And so a common mistake that restaurant owners will make around this is they just don't spend enough to their marketing. So here's what I mean by that. If let's say your restaurant is doing $200,000 per month and you want to get that to $300,000. Well, as a rule of thumb, you want to spend at least 2% of your budget on marketing. So if I want to get to $200,000 and I'm kind of looking to like grow slowly or not as fast, then what's 2% of 200,000? $4,000. So I'm going to do $4,000 at least. If I know my numbers, I can even probably spend $6,000 a month. This customer can even justify spending $4,000 to $6,000 a month if they want to hit that aggressive goal. Now, if I'm only going to spend, let's say like $1,000, excuse me for my terrible writing, then sometimes that's not enough budget to get me to this result. And so I might think that this doesn't work, but I'm not generating enough orders or tickets with that amount of ad spend to help me get to that goal. I hope that makes sense. You really want to base your advertising spend on the cost per store visit, not just like clicks, not just like what you feel like you should be spending. This is a big key in making this work and how we've been successful with clients. So guys, in conclusion here, the biggest takeaway that I want you to have in this video is that you're used to looking at your finances, you're used to tracking everything. You have to track your food costs, your profit and loss statement, but restaurant owners, for whatever reason, just like don't track their marketing. And by doing this, it just makes it really tough to scale. And so take the first steps forward at figuring this stuff out. If you want to continue learning what we are doing for clients and you like staying up to date with everything that's trending on these ad platforms, what we're doing just to help restaurants grow and scale, I would recommend just subscribing to our channel, liking this video. It'll get served to you in the algorithm. And we also have a free marketing course in the link below that you can watch completely for free on YouTube. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.